The Royals are tired of the month-long offensive slump. Tonight, they hope to turn the tide against a team they swept the first homestand of the year. It's the Minnesota Twins and the Kansas City Royals. Next. These fans coming to the K hoping to see an offense heat up. It's game one of a three-game series between the Twins and the Royals. Hi, everybody. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler with you. It has been a month-long doldrum. The Royals have lost 21 of their last 27. They're barely averaging over 3 runs during that time, and their main weapon, Billy Butler, has also been quiet. His batting practices have been excellent, but he has a set jaw, and going against a team he's had some success against in the past.
Not to put too much pressure on Billy, but as Billy goes, so do the Royals. They need him to step up, and we're going to show you some numbers that are positive. Look, he's got an 11-game hitting streak against these Minnesota Twins, who are coming in here winning 7 out of their last 10 games. They're hot, but a day off, that cools everybody off. Billy Butler, he needs to step it up a little bit and forget about these pitches that are off the plate. Okay, he's over-aggressive. He's been swinging out of the zone. He needs to just focus on what he can do, and if they choose not to throw him strikes, good. Don't be bait. Don't go out there and just swing at it. Focus on what you can do, and Billy knows, and everyone knows what he can do. They need him to start hitting some extra base hits and with some power.
On the mound, Luis Mendoza, and he'll be throwing to his favorite target as Salvador Perez is back with KC.
Reinstated off the bereavement list. Adam Moore has been sent to AAA option there. Other moves, Kelvin Herrera recalled, Lewis Coleman option back. Also the Royals acquiring outfielder Quentin Berry on outright waivers today from Detroit. They send him to AAA. Joel Goldberg here at Kauffman Stadium. The best addition the Royals could get. Catcher Salvador Perez is back. and that is a huge boost, should be a huge boost to this team in so many ways. He had been gone after the passing of his grandmother and ended up spending more than a week gone because he was raised by his mother and his grandmother, and that's all he had. So he went back to pay respects, to mourn in the loss of his grandmother, and to help move his mother to the United States, take care of all business in Venezuela, and then get back here. He hates to be out of the lineup, but it was family first. He has moved his mother, he tells me, to Kansas City, and he is ready to go. And, hey, they'll take his bat, batting .369 in the month of May. So Salvador returns, and he will be on hand to catch Luis Mendoza as the Royals try to end that home losing streak of 10 games. Salvi, Luis Mendoza, and the Royals coming up next on Fox Sports Kansas City.
Ten straight games, and Kansas City Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery and by your Kansas City Chevy dealers and by ATT Uverse TV. Check availability at 1800. Pick ATT. Rethink possible. This game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. George Brett, number 5, is back at the K. This is his home debut as the interim batting coach for Kansas City. He'll be working with Ned Yost, and of course Ron Gardenhire is the manager of the Minnesota Twins. And here's a look at their starting lineup. Jamie Carroll will lead things off, and he'll play third base. Batting second is Joe Mauer. Hitting third, Josh Willingham. Then Justin Morneau. Ryan Dummett has been very, very hot. Dummett hitting .229 overall. Chris Parmelee always strong at the K. Then Dozier, Hicks, and Florimon. On the hill for Kansas City will be the right-hander Luis Mendoza. Last 5 starts have really been strong, Rex.
No question about it, Fizz. But this is really a special start for him to try to break this losing streak here at home. But also it's against his first opponent here in this division. So he needs to come out and do his thing. Hard, heavy sinkers, big breaking balls, changeups. Okay, the defense, they've been playing a little bit better. They're playing with more of a sense of urgency, and that goes hand in hand. So we see Salvador Perez as Salvi. He's back. Boy, I tell you, they missed him the last week. This guy, he commands that running game. He stops it, really. He's thrown out 34.6% of base stealers, which is tied with Baltimore's Matt Wieters for most in the AL.
Here is Jamie Carroll, the 39-year-old veteran out of Evansville, Indiana. And Mendoza, whose sinking fastball has been delivering like that. Late movement, a lot of ground ball outs.
Pound that strike zone. Pound it. Keep the sinker down.
The Twins, in winning 6 of their last 7 games, have moved from last place to 3rd place in the American League Central. They're now 25-29. The Royals right now in last at 23-31.
That's how quickly things can happen. Still this early in the season. Royals need to just tighten up their game a little bit and know that those losing ways can be done if they'll just execute and get some runners home and give Mendoza a little bit of support.
Because the Twins were really going through hard times before the last week. And that pitch rides high and tight. They had gone over a 12-game stretch, Rex, where they lost 11 of their 12 games and then immediately turned it around, won 6 of their last 7, and they're averaging 5.6 runs per game the last week.
Yeah, but when they weren't, that's a ball. Didn't look like one. So Jamie Carroll is going to get on board. They were only averaging 2.9 runs, same as KC is in their little valley here, but that's going to change. They're too good. Looked like a pretty nice spot there. Salvi thought it was a strike, and Carroll looked back and made sure that home plate umpire Mike Estabrook was correct.
And now trouble at the plate in Joe Mauer. Joe is hitting .335. That's 3rd best in the American League behind Miguel Cabrera and Chris Davis. That sinking fastball can deliver a lot of double plays, and Mendoza is looking for that with Joe at the plate.
Yeah, Joe, you know, he stays inside the ball nicely, so he doesn't ground out into too many double plays, because when you do, usually your top hand rolls. He's only grounded into 2 this year.
Mendoza knows that Mauer, when he plays at the K, is always difficult. The highest career batting average brought to you by Toyota. Joe Mauer at .324 against these Kansas City Royals. And against everybody else. But against the Royals at the K, he is hitting .362. With 5 home runs and 47 RBIs. Ooh, he got one up in the strike zone, and now it's a 1-2 count, but he is one of the best 2-strike hitters we have seen the last 10 years.
You got to be, really careful where you put it on him. He's going to usually put the ball in play, but he's really smart at recognizing pitches.
Carroll not really a threat to go. He hasn't offered a stolen base this year. Does not go as Mendoza tries to jam Joe inside and barely misses. 2-2.
It's a good idea, but you got to miss inside like he did. Can't leave anything out over the plate. It's a good spot. Try to keep him from getting his hands extended, arms extended.
Mike Estabrook is the home plate umpire. Phil Cuzzy at first base. Tom Hallion second. Chris Guccione third. Swing and a miss, and down goes Mauer. A big strikeout for Luis Mendoza.
He sets that big breaking ball up with hard sinkers, and that's the first time he's shown that to him. So good timing for that pitch selection.
And he is not a strikeout pitcher. That was only his 34th this year in 47 innings. Now will face a terrific power hitter in Josh Willingham. 10 this year, busted 35 last year. Strike one.
What's made Mendoza so good is that he's got his confidence back. And when he's got confidence, he comes right at hitters. He goes right down in there, trusts his stuff like Dave Island likes for his pitchers to do. And don't back off.
1 ball, 1 strike. We told you about 5 straight good starts by Luis Mendoza. In that time, he's allowed 10 runs in 28 2/3 innings. Not one start where he's allowed more than 3 runs over those last 5. In the air, left center field, playable for Lorenzo Cain, 2 outs. So that will take him to Justin Morneau. And through the years, there are 2 guys, the M&M guys, Mauer and Morneau, who have had tremendous success against Kansas City. A .312 batting average, .326 average with runners in scoring position. But the rest of the team, not so much. And that's why Kansas City was able to sweep the Twins the first homestand of the year, outscoring them 13-5.
He's been out for a couple of games because he had some kind of flu, some kind of virus.
Missed the last 2. But he had a terrific month of May and has fans here along with Joe. Had 23 of his 34 RBIs in May.
Mendoza's given up a .295 average to left-handed bats. 3 homers. All he's given up there. Righties .244 with 2 homers.
And Morneau with good opposite field power. So Rex, if he gets the back underside, there is a breeze blowing from right to left about 10 to 15 miles an hour where Justin could get some help.
Well, he loves hitting here. He's hit 14 home runs at the K. It's the most at any opposing ballpark in his career. And yes, that wind will help balls to left center.
We saw him hit one into the right center drink last year. This young man has tremendous power, a veteran out of British Columbia, now 31 years of age. Former American League MVP. And again, he sends it foul, so Mendoza has a 2-2 count on Justin. This is a team that pounded Seattle in their last game 10-0 on Sunday.
Okay, Mauer and Morneau, I noticed a couple of their swings. They're trying to uppercut. They're trying to lift that ball. So Mendoza's going to really have to be careful keeping that down.
Struck out Mauer on a curveball. And that one is hit to right, but David Lowe had it well played and makes the catch for the final out of the first. KC coming up. Taking a sip of Gatorade on the left, and let's check out the lineup that they'll be working with tonight. Alex Gordon will lead things off, hitting .326 in the top 10 in the American League in that department, followed by Escobar, Hosmer, Butler, Kane, Moustakas, Perez, Lowe and Johnson. And they will face a right-hander who was one of the stars in the World Baseball Classic victory for Dominican Republic, Samuel Deduno.
Okay, now he can be effectively wild. That's what they say on this kid. Now he's got 5 walks in just 12 1/3 innings. He's got a good fastball. He can rush up there to the mid-90s with a four-seamer, but he mainly tries to save with his sinker. Okay, Jamie Carroll. You see Hicks out there in center field. He's got some assists this year. He's new kid on the block. Sometimes a lot of coaches don't know him very well, so they've been trying him. But Jamie Carroll, he's 39 years old. He's had 12 starts at second, 1 at short, and now the 10th start at third base.
No errors his last 49 games. And here is Alex Gordon to lead things off. Had just 2 hits in that Texas series. He has slipped to 8th in the American League in batting, now at .326 after going 5 for 20 on this recent road trip. Still tied for first in multi-hit games this year with 24.
So Deduno, he's going to cut his fastball. It kind of runs a little bit. Tries to keep it down with his little sinker. He also has a little slider, a little cutter. Kind of spins it some. Curve and a change.
And that's an odd hop for Morneau, but he gets it to Deduno in time for the first out.
Okay, Minnesota's defense, they're pretty good this year. They just aired 22 times. They're in the top third in the American League in fielding. And you know, you talked about the kid Hicks in center field. He's a fine athlete. Runs some balls down. He's new. When we saw him in the first 3 games of the series this year at the beginning of the season, we weren't sure about him. Now they're a lot more confident in his ability and what he can do.
Well, last time Deduno pitched, he made a tremendous diving catch in center field. Escobar, the batter. 3 hits in the Texas series, and he swings and misses for strike 1. I saw him visiting with George Brett during batting practice today, and George was really talking about slowing down.
Yeah, that's important. Not just slowing down physically, it's mentally too. It's important to have a calm demeanor the best you can when you get up there.
Escobar had a terrific 2012, hitting .293 and setting a Royals record for shortstops with 177 hits, but coming off a .228 May. Seeing his batting average drop to .249. He knows that's not like him.
You know, whenever you use the term effectively wild for a pitcher, it tells a hitter a couple of things. First of all, sometimes they might be a little nervous because he has hit 3 batters in just 12 1/3 innings. But the other thing is, maybe you can get him in a little rut, get him in a walk drop, take a few pitches on him.
Well, throughout his career, he has had more success against the impatient teams, the free swinging teams, and Kansas City would be included in that. And here is Escobar swinging and missing at a pitch that may not have been a strike.
But you know, you look at this kid's track record: 97 innings at the major league level, 62 walks. That's a very high number. It doesn't look like he's changing much either as far as his command goes.
And Rex, this is his 3rd start against a patient team. The Detroit Tigers gave up 6 runs in 5 1/3. Against an impatient team that was struggling, Milwaukee, he allowed only 1 run in 7 innings. Now Eric Hosmer. Eric with 4 hits in that Texas series. His batting average now at .265. 1 ball, 1 strike. And Deduno, I told you, starred for that Dominican Republic team in the WBC, then hurt his groin in the title game.
It's the reason he only has 12 1/3 innings coming in this year. He's had a tough beginning to the season.
After getting off the DL, was sent to AAA Rochester, made 3 starts there. Up the middle. It will be an infield hit for Eric Hosmer. That was a really difficult play for Pedro Florimon.
Yeah, that's good eyes on that ball there for sure. He'll take that. it up there for Billy. And plus, with Ned hit him in that third slot tonight, maybe that'll help him with the confidence department. He has picked it up as of late.
So the Royals have their first base runner. Told you they have had a tough time the last 2 weeks, averaging just over 2 runs per game. And here is Billy Butler. He had a difficult road trip, 2 hits, 14 at bats. And as you were talking about, Rex, he had stretched his strike zone. And until the guys behind him start swinging the bat and being productive, most starting pitchers aren't going to pitch to Billy.
He just needs to stay in his game, in his groove. Anything off the plate and he doesn't want to swing at, don't feel forced to. And, that's kind of a natural tendency for a guy who's a hit-only guy. He's a DH, and one of the best in the league last year. He was the best. He wants to hit so badly that those pitches that are borderline that he was taking last year, he's swinging this year, and he's not squaring the ball up like he's capable of.
I would imagine if the offense was rolling, he'd be more patient. But he feels pressure that he's got to maybe expand his strike zone. And now it's a 3-0 count from DeDuno to Billy Butler.
He probably understands how good he is against Minnesota. He's got a nice 11-game hitting streak against this team, batting .422. So he's going to take some positives coming into this game here in this series.
A strike, it's 3-1.
You noticed he threw him a little cutter there. He wasn't sure if Billy was going to be green lighted with the 3-0 or not.
Minnesota has plenty of speed in center field, but not so much in the flanks with Willingham in left and Parmalee in right. So Gapper could score. Hosmer from first. That one's low, ball 4, and that is 5 walks for Billy in the last 4 games.
Okay, nothing wrong with that. They're not going to pitch to him. Let the next guy behind you do it. Hopefully Lorenzo Cain can get hot and start protecting Billy. He is a .354 hitter, is Lorenzo Cain, with a runner in scoring position, a number that has dropped drastically over the last 12, 13 games.
As a team, they're only batting .183 the last 2 weeks with runners in scoring position. High and tight. 1 ball, no strikes. I told you DeDuno beat Milwaukee 4-1 in his last start, allowing 1 run, 4 hits in 7 innings. And he said after the game, the key to his success, first pitch strikes. Barely grazes the outside corner at 90 miles an hour to even the count at 1-1.
Lorenzo, he's 5 for 15 in his last 4 games. But driving in a run or 2 is going to help him with the confidence department for sure.
Two and one. Starting pitching has been so rough for Minnesota all year long. It cost them early. It's improved a bit late, but it's still 5.5 ERA. More than a run and a half higher than Kansas City's. Takes a rip, but that's out of play, even at 2-2. DeDuno's fastball moves so much, but so difficult to command. Royals have Hosmer at second base, Butler at first base. To third, and Jamie Carroll gets the force. Inning over. Royals leave 2. We head to the second inning of play. 0-0 ball game. bat in the last 3 weeks, and they've all been hot. Brown 365, Cabrera 364, Chris Davis on fire at 437, and Carlos Gonzalez. They've all been pretty hot, and the Unlimited Answers sweepstakes presented by Sprint. Vote in tonight's Unlimited Answers poll and enter for your chance to win 2 Crown Club tickets to a future Royals game, courtesy of Sprint. 2 Crown Club tickets, and we've talked to some fans who have enjoyed that experience, and they love it. Here is Ryan Domit.
Dominic Brown, you know, the Phillies have been patient with that young man for a while. It's good to see him starting to come on. He's 26 years old. He's been on that team for a few years, but hadn't gotten regular playing time because he didn't produce. Takes time.
Ryan Domit was a high pick. It took him years to finally make it, and really he made it big after his move from Pittsburgh to Minnesota, and he's played very well. Hit .275 with 18 home runs last year.
Yeah, he's a big, strong guy with a short, compact stroke from both sides of the plate.
He had 7 hits in the recent homestand, including a couple of home runs, but the most dramatic knock that he got was that walk-off triple that he got on Saturday in their victory. A 3-2 count. Mendoza walked Jamie Carroll to open the ball game, but then struck out Mauer, got Willingham and Morneau to fly out. Just did get a piece of it.
Okay, good to see him throwing a secondary pitch, that big curveball in a 3-2 count. Because hitters like Domit, they're looking for the fastball, so they gear up for it. They're throwing one on the outside part of the plate.
Struck out Mauer on the curve, but also Morneau lined out on a curve. And there's the fastball that misses. It will be a leadoff walk.
Okay, they tried to nibble on him out there, but that's better out there than in that particular hitter's count.
Luis talking with his infielders about where he's going for the double play. This is not a team that runs that much. Minnesota's 13th in the American League in stolen bases with 21, and Domit's not one of the runners. It's usually a guy like Hicks or Florimon or Dozier. Here's Chris Parmelee, known for his power, and he takes outside for a ball, and he has to have confidence going up against Luis. 4 for 5 with 1 home run, and at the K, this guy has always been a good hitter.
He's hitting 440 here. It's great to see Salvador Perez back. Just the energy, the life that he has, the passion. You can feel him from up here, from looking at him, just watching him.
And that's the first thing that Ned Yost talked about Salvi's return, was his energy.
You know, 2-1. Just think of Salvador's life the last week and a half since he went away. He has just his grandmother and his mother and his family. That's it. And his grandmother raised him. To lose her suddenly like that without getting a chance to say goodbye, and then now his mom's like, Salvi, can you come home? You know, he's been through an awful lot here the last week.
And that's why we understand why he stayed the extra days to get his mother in a move all the way to Kansas City. She wants to live here in the States with Salvador.
I mean, you know, he had to go home and basically say goodbye to that chapter of his life.
Yeah.
Very emotional.
In there, 2-2.
He said he appreciates all the support he's gotten. Lots of mail and letters from people wishing him nothing but the best. So Salvi says thank you to the folks here in Kansas City for thinking about him in a real, very sensitive time in his life. He's just a young man.
Just turned 23 in May. They want to come inside, but it misses, and another full count at 3-2.
Minnesota, they're being very selective. They're being patient off Mendoza. They're working a lot of full counts, 31 pitches thrown. This is the second inning here. They're working it. Mendoza, just 15 strikes, 16 balls.
His last game, he received a no decision in a 5-3 loss to St. Louis, even though he left in the 6th inning with a 2-1 lead, but the Royals pen could not hold on. Gave up 1 run in 5 2/3 innings, walked 3, struck out 5. How about rolling him up here? Nice ground ball to Elliott Johnson.
Just got to go sinker down and away. He tried that in his last at bat, 3-2 against Ryan Doman, and he missed outside. He's going to have to get a little bit more of the plate. So where Salvi's sitting, right there.
Ball 4. And this is not a staff that walks that many. The Royals have been very good at limiting their base on balls this year because their starting rotation has been so good. We told you Mendoza only 3 walks in his last start, but that was in almost 6 innings. Dave Island does not like what he's seen in the first 2 innings with 3 walks already and 2 on with nobody out for Brian Dozier, who's been hot. He has a 7-game hit streak going, hitting almost 380 during that time with 2 home runs. 2 of his 3 home runs this year have come in the last week.
Yeah, you know what? He struggled mightily before that happened, though. See, that's how quick you can get into a groove. 10 for 24 over his last 6 games.
Moustakas in at third, thinking Dozier might be thinking about bunting.
Gardenhire's probably going to let him swing away here, as hot as he's been lately. Gardenhire is a big fan of small ball, though. He does like the bunts and the hit and runs if he can get the right situation.
Oh, man. 2-0 count. And Dave Island's coming out for a visit. I mean, Luis has got to be aggressive here.
Yeah, it's not going to be a conversation about slowing it down because he's awfully slow right now with his pace. I think he just needs to get back in that strike zone. Trust that sinker. Let him hit it. Keep it down. Hit it at somebody.
He has shown such good movement with that sinking fastball, and if he can keep the sinker down and that breaking ball down as well, well, that's why he has had success the last 5 starts. Those 2 pitches have been more of his anchor. Although I will say this, against St. Louis, Rex, he had a good slider going and a good cutter. He gets the strike across.
Was his 4-seamer. He gets that ball up there at 94 with a 4-seamer, but he's more comfortable in low 90s.
Down the line. Moustakas is even with the bag, and he's about 5 feet, maybe 6 feet off the line. Now with a 2-2 count, he might back up. Yes, he will. Where he's playing, if that ball was struck right to him, they had a chance to go around the diamond. Popped him up right side. Elliott Johnson drifting out and calling off David Lowe and making sure he makes the catch. Infield fly rule was in effect as well, so there's 1 out.
Okay, that'll work.
And now a guy who will be very difficult to double, and Aaron Hicks, who can fly. And when we saw Aaron Hicks, they were thinking about sending him out. He was miserable in the month of April, only hit 113. But they stayed with him. They didn't send him down. He has fought through this still. He's only hitting 173. But he's beginning to show signs of excellence, both in the field and finally at the plate. 6 home runs, 19 RBIs.
He's got some pop.
Yeah. That 6 home runs would be tied with Alex Gordon for most on the Royals lead.
Left-handed, he's only hitting 153. Right-handed, 250. Hadn't grounded into a double play all year, but there's always a first.
Hey, we saw Ichiro do it back when he could really fly.
That's right.
I remember you and I were talking about it. Then the next swing, ground ball right at the second baseman, 4-6-3, and we're saying that's his first of the year.
Well, let's just see if we can keep talking Mindy into it. He'd love that here.
He's got him down in the count, 2 strikes, and Hicks does swing and miss a bit. He has struck out 50 times already this year. And that's in just 50 games.
Willingham has him beat with 57 strikeouts.
Got underneath, popped it up. Moustakas in foul territory. 2 outs. Hey fans, join us this Friday for summer fireworks courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Plus, it's a newly added Buck Night with hot dogs, peanuts, and small soft drinks for just $1. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets for summer fireworks and Buck Night. That is always special. It'll be Friday against the Houston Astros. Well, Mendoza worked himself into a jam. He's 2/3 of his way out of it. Number 9 hitter, Pedro Florimon. Strike 1. Boy, after that discussion with Dave Island, we're seeing a lot of strikes all of a sudden. Got ahead of both Dozier and Hicks. Got them both to pop up.
His pitchers respond to him, Dave Island. He's a straight shooter. He comes right at him, doesn't do any fluffing around. He lets them know where they stand, and he lets them know their strengths and focuses on those strengths. They're aware of the weaknesses, but they focus on their strengths and they pitch the hitters accordingly. He's a big coach on accountability. He likes them to be accountable for themselves and their outings and their mistakes that they make.
You know, it's the same thing that George Brett, who's right next to Dave, talked about when he was named the interim coach. He said, let's start by being accountable. I can't hit for them. Right now, Mendoza knows that Dave Island can't throw the strikes. Here's the 1-2, and Florimon fouls it back.
Hey, what though? This young kid, Florimon, Ron Gardenhire, he's very impressed with him so far in his first season. He's a rookie. They let him have that job. And he's impressed Gardenhire with his defensive ability. You know, really a shortstop, that's what you're there for. Defense, number 1. He's got really good range, makes all the routine plays, and a few great ones.
That is struck softly to Mendoza, who will tag him as he runs by. That's the final out. Fine job by Mendoza. Got himself into a heck of a jam, but a couple of pop-ups and a ground out later, he's heading to the dugout. Out of the K, pregame activities include a fashion show courtesy of Macy's, dueling pianos, mini makeovers, chocolate fountains, and much more. Plus, the first 10,000 ladies will receive a pink Kansas City cap courtesy of KC Chevy dealers. The night benefits the American Heart Association. Go Red for Women. For more details and VIP packages, go to Royals.com/Girls Night Out. Steve Physiak, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery with you at the K. Mike Moustakas to lead things off. And he takes strike one from Samuel Deduno. Moose 2 hits in that Texas series.
Yeah, that last one he got was to left field. That's been a key for him to get going. You get to see the ball deeper towards the catcher's glove. You see it longer. And you start slapping that ball out there that way, then the next thing you know, you find your pitch for the home run when it comes.
And George talked about that when he came to the team that first day. Hey, you know, if you're not a home run hitter or home run hitter yet, go ahead and take the single. Let the guy behind you get a single or double. Get you around. And he also said, take your walks. You know, the Royals are dead last in walks, and combined with dead last in home runs. That is why they're tied for 13th. At a 15 American League team in runs scored under 4 per game. But number 5, even he remembers his first year in the big leagues, how difficult it was. He said, I was hitting, I think he said 200 at the All-Star break when I finally surrendered to Charlie Lau, and Charlie got me up to 282.
Yep, that was early on in his career. First year, I believe.
Pulled to the right side, and Morneau will take care of it. 3-1 goes the play. We're at the bottom of the second inning. Kansas City hosting Minnesota in the first of a 3-game series. There's Billy Butler right next to George.
And you know, today was the first day that George was able to be on the field for on-field batting practice. The weather's been so terrible in the last few stops they've had, and with the early arrival in Texas, they haven't hit on the field yet. So today was the first day he could get out there, and it was fun to see George around the cage, not just sitting in back of the cage just watching. He was on the sides of the cage talking with different players when they came out. He's going to have a hands-on approach that hopefully will help them more mentally than anything else.
Rex, here's Salvador Perez, and it's great to see him back. He's hitting .369 in the month of May. Do you think he could be a solution to hitting behind Billy Butler?
Oh, absolutely.
And he hits that one solidly, but lines out to Florimon.
He almost undressed Florimon. Yeah, Salvi's is going to be a potential candidate to hit behind Billy, for sure. But not bad after missing a week, squaring up the first time you swing the bat, almost knocking the shortstop down. Great to see David Lowe. Thought for sure the way he reacted, he had broken a bone in that wrist because he got drilled. I mean, just hammered him to hit.
And that was in that important 10th inning where they rallied to score those 3 runs. Right on that right hand.
Yep, that's his lead hand. He said he couldn't feel it, got to first base, couldn't, or you know, he got halfway down there and then he came out. Made him nervous. So then the feeling started coming back to him. Most ballparks have an in-house x-ray machine. And just by the way he was reacting, there's so many small bones in the wrist. Whenever you get hit there, it's really a dangerous place for a hitter.
So how do you think something like that would feel today? A few days later.
Better, or he wouldn't be in there. You can tell because you know, your hands are such a big part of swinging the bat. You would be able to tell.
What kind of therapy would you go through?
A lot of ice, a lot of stim, electric stim, a little bit of heat. It's deep bone bruise. So they have different ways they treat it. That stim, you know, it's a machine that sends electrical waves in there. Kind of gets the blood flowing in there.
One ball, 2 strikes to David. That 10th inning was awfully important. The Royals went into it 1-1 tie with the Texas Rangers, and they came out of the top of that 10th inning leading 4-1. George Gutierrez with the big hit. Barely off the plate, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Again, he goes with that curveball, and Ron Gardenhire saying if he gets the curve over, he can be very tough to beat.
It's a pretty good pitch. It's a lot like Mendoza's. It has a big break to it. Lowe did a good job just getting a piece of it.
McGarty said we're still trying to get an understanding of what he can do. There are games he'll give us 5 innings, others he'll give us 9. Fleury-Mon. 3 up, 3 down for KC. We head to the 3rd inning, and Mendoza back to work. Sitting in the Buck O'Neill legacy seat. 14 years ago, Annette's father, Larry, lost a kidney to cancer, and 7 years later had the other partially removed. After a year on dialysis, Larry was added to the transplant list and found that Annette was a 100% match. Without hesitation, Annette donated a kidney to her father in April and saved his life. Way to go, Annette. You are awesome. Luis Mendoza back to work, and he will face the top of the order, Jamie Carroll, a guy he had trouble throwing a strike to first time up, and he walked him, and Mendoza has walked 3 in 2 innings. Carroll pops it up right side. Long run for David Lowe. Look at that effort by Elliott Johnson, but he cannot get there. Just barely beyond his reach. 1-2. With the fans in that area standing and giving him a great ovation.
Yeah, he's coming hard the whole way. He had the best angle on it. You can't be playing Jamie Carroll very deep from the very beginning because he doesn't have a lot of pop, especially to the opposite field. But when they hit him down there in that Bermuda Triangle area, second baseman usually is the one with the best opportunity. Great effort.
Carroll hit 1 home run all of last year. Does not have one yet this season. Hits it to short. Escobar, nice good hop for him. 1 out.
39 years old, and he runs 95 feet hard. Has a lot of respect for the game.
He wore out the Royals last year.
Very pesky. This year he's accepted his utility role finally. Last year he played a lot. He was one of their regular second basemen, shortstop. And then he gave away to Florimon. Excuse me.
It was about that time that your body started falling apart.
But not near the mileage that Jamie Carroll has. It's not easy. It's a young man's game.
It isn't.
You're coming to the ballpark 2 hours early and staying 2 hours after. Believe me, it's a lot of work when you get to be that age.
I remember going to a Chicago White Sox at Seattle game, and I stayed afterwards and talked to some fellows up in the broadcast booth, and then I went downstairs, and guess who was still in the clubhouse working out an hour and a half after the game? 45-year-old Carlton Fisk. And I thought to myself, that's why he's still playing the game.
You got that right. There's no shortcuts.
Joe Mauer with a 2-1 count. He has a good eye, tied with Miguel Cabrera at a .455 on base percentage. In there, 2-2. But Joe has not shown the power that he used to display in the old Metrodome. He hit 28 home runs in 2009, and he has only 27 since. In the air, left field, Gordon back. 2 outs. Hey, Wildcat fans. K-State Day at the K is this Sunday versus the Astros at 1:10. The first 1,000 fans that bring the K-State Day ticket to the table inside Gate B will receive a limited edition purple, silver, and white KC cap presented by Fox Sports Kansas City and Rally House. Plus, some fans will receive a K-State themed cup courtesy of Rally House. So go to Royals.com/K-State and join your fellow Wildcats at the ballpark this Sunday. Ooh, they got him on the side of the shoulder. Josh Willingham is hit by a pitch.
Just the second time. Oh, no, excuse me. That's the 8th time. I'm thinking I was looking at the wrong number. Because he gets up on that plate. I would be surprised if it was just a second time. 8th time he's been clipped. Just barely got him, too. I mean, just a touch on the uniform. I don't know how, though, the uniform is so tight around his biceps. He's a big, strong guy. Not a lot of material hanging there.
Now Morneau, who almost gapped a curveball from Mendoza his first time up, lined out to the right fielder David Lowe.
And he's not looking for a lousy single in left field. He's looking to pull one. He's got that big swing already in his second at bat. We saw him in the first AB trying to swing for the homers too.
Hosmer has it, gives it up to Mendoza, and the Royals out of trouble in the third inning. No runs, a man left. We head to the bottom of the third looking for our first run.
Grafal talking over hitting, I am sure, and George Brett, with this being his first home game as the new interim hitting coach, met again with the media today for all the local folks, and as usual, very enlightening. And he said that things have really changed for him now. He was out walking his dogs this morning and usually just thinking about that and his coffee, but today he had Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas' swing on his mind. And he also had a recent conversation with Clint Hurdle, and Clint told him, you know, George, when you played, you practiced harder than anyone. And George said that he had never really realized that before, but that's something he talked to his players about today, not just going through the motions in batting practice, but taking it seriously and going at it hard and getting that work in. Also interesting, Hud and Fizz, that he was asked, could he see a scenario where he went all summer with this? And he said, yeah, he does. At the same time, he doesn't want to, you know, get in a situation where they have to fire him. He would rather retire. He's not concerned about his legacy at all. And one other really interesting thing to me was that he was asked, you know, can you be a great hitter? Can you be a great coach? And he said, we'll find out, as we're going to see Elliott Johnson ground to second base. He said Charlie Lau was not a good hitter, but a great coach. Ted Williams was a great hitter and not a good coach. But he said, we'll see what happens. Easier to do, he said, than say for him, but he's going to try his best.
That's right, Joel. Hey, also, what that point he made about practicing hard, that's a big thing for a young team. You have to establish your work habits during BP, and especially running the bases. There's a technique in a way. You don't run them, you know, till your tongue hangs out of your mouth, but you do it the right way. You take some time at each base, and you play it off the bat. And then at third base, you take a couple. You come walking in, you land on that front foot as the ball crosses the plate, and you head home. And this really sets the tone for your team and the pride you have and the way you practice. So that's a big thing for this young Royals team here. Establish your practice habits.
You know, Hud, we saw that with the Cardinals. No surprise that they're good every single year. They were running in those important situations in batting practice and doing all those little things. You know, the guy on this team that does all those things hard every single day is the one that's batting right now, Alex Gordon. And he takes every fly ball when he's out in the outfield like it's a game situation. And so I think that's what George is going to try to instill in all of these guys. He said he had a really good talk with them today. Are they listening? Are they not? Are they responding to him? Maybe it's too early to tell, but he said he had that meeting with him and Pedro Grafal too, and you could hear a pin drop. So they definitely were attentive.
Yeah, George Katara said he just brings the X factor. He's here for us. He's backing us 100%. Alex Gordon takes it low. But, Rex, I want to get back to what you were talking about, because I remember you and I having a discussion with Cal Ripken Jr. about practice, and somebody said, well, practice makes perfect, and Cal said, no, perfect practice makes perfect. It's not the quantity. It's not the number of hours you put in. It's the quality of that practice.
That's right. So typically after the first round of batting, the hitter drops his bat and he runs the bases. And so you stop at first, and then you wait till the guy does his bunts, and then first swing is a hit and run. So you take off, you wait, and you hit and run. And you get to second base, you wait for him to get him over.
Pedino throws out Alex Gordon.
But after a while, you run those bases every day, and you get into that habit of doing it, and you do it right just the first time. That's the only time in practice you run the bases. The opponents are typically stretching about that time. They're watching. They're seeing all that. And when you pay attention to detail during batting practice, you're going to sure as heck pay attention to detail in the game. Carries over. Cal Ripken used to see how many balls he could pick up. He wanted to beat you picking up balls and put them in the basket. That's after his round of hitting was over.
Competed every second on the field.
Yeah, he took a lot of pride in his gig. Joel?
Well, you know, for people that are wondering, you know, well, is George going to want to do this every day? I mean, he said, my life was pretty good before all this started, and we all know that. He gets to go out and golf. He can go anywhere, speaks to a ton of people. He lives the good life, and he doesn't need to be doing this, and he has said that he wants to give back to the organization, cares so much about it. But he said that this has really re-energized him. He said that he is enjoying every single moment. He said, I used to sit at home and watch games, and these 3-hour games would feel like they'd be going on forever, like 5 hours, and now these 3-hour games feel like they go by in a flash. So You know, he's thinking about a lot. He said he's starting to work with video. Pedro's going to be more the video guy, and I know George has said that he's old school. They didn't have video back then, but he's starting to study video and work on those things too. But, you know, and Monty said this before, this is a guy that will take every challenge that comes his way in life extremely seriously, and he's looking at it like that right now. And he said, if it doesn't work, I'll go down fighting. I'll go down trying.
Pedro Grufal right to his right, or to his left. He's a fine player at Florida. Led him to the College World Series as a catcher in '89 and was an All-American in '91. This winter he was the manager of Escobar's team in Venezuela. I see these right now at the plate. 2 out, 2 strikes. And fans, get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. Right now, Deduno's top speed has been 93 miles an hour. Mendoza the same at 93. There's a line drive base hit to right field. That is probably the best struck ball by a Royal today. They did have Salvador Perez with that line out.
Yeah, you know, that was very nice. He was patient, but he was also aggressive at the same time. He was waiting. He's going to hit that little breaking ball before it really got to its full maturity as far as its break go. Okay, freeze it right there, guys. Hold it. Okay, look at it. He's able to get it out in front back here like this. But see, it's all about the head position. He's got a good body, nice balance there. And he just went with it, and he got topspin on it. That's what happens when you can sink that down out there. You stay on top of the ball.
Now let's see if Hosmer gives him a pitch to go on. Well, Deduno's thinking about Eske, who is 10 for 10 this year. Joe Mauer has an exceptional arm behind home plate. We haven't seen Deduno that much from the stretch.
Showing quick feet there.
Escobar does not go. Pitch wanders outside. 1-0. Hosmer has 6 hits since George Brett took over, including that game-winning double in St. Louis at 3:14 in the morning. Actually, it happened the day before. The game ended at 3:14 on the Friday morning, but Hosmer actually got it about 10:30 on Thursday night. That was that wild game where we had an hour rain delay before it started. Then right after Hosmer got the double that put the Royals in front 4-2, the heavens opened up, the rains came, delaying the game until 2:45 a.m. He takes a rip, fouls it out of play, 1-2.
Okay, I like the fact that Hosmer's getting around on inside pitches a lot more. They're working on that too. You know, to be an all-around hitter and a star like George, they try to find ways to get you out. And if they're going to find one weakness, then they'll stay on that weakness, because these games are scouted ahead by the team you're going to play next. And Hosmer's been working on getting his hips through and open up a little bit on that inside pitch, like he did just there in that last swing.
Escobar does not go, and Hosmer swings and misses and strikes out. So the Royals are done in the third, and we still do not have a run home as we head to the fourth in KC. And vote for the very deserving Alex Gordon. He has had a terrific year. A couple of walk-offs already. Gold Glove defense. So check in your ballot. Alex Gordon, Kansas City Royal. This is a guy who is 8th in batting, 5th in hits, tied for 1st in multi-hit games. I know there are a lot of guys out there, including Joe Mauer, who has almost a million votes already. He leads Matt Wieters.
Hopefully this is the year Alex makes it and gets recognized for his hard work and performance. And you got to have numbers early on.
The National League released everybody today, and Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips of Cincinnati, they were over 1 million votes. Buster Posey, Pablo Sandoval of the Giants, the world champions, they were over 1 million votes. That ball lifted in the air. And right now, the American League vote leaders, as you might imagine, in the bigger markets, Robinson Cano, 1.2 million. Miguel Cabrera won the Triple Crown, 1.5 million. Chris Davis, who's having an outstanding year, almost 1.2. Mike Trout, 1.2.
So Gordon's trailing right fielder Torrey Hunter of the Tigers.
Ryan Domit is the batter. First time up, he walked. He has a 2-2 count. In the dirt, 3-2. He had a good rip on a fastball that was about belt high.
He walked him last time up, Domit. Actually, in the same situation, he walked Domit and then Parmalee.
Pulled foul. And by the way, Rex, that broadcast auction is this Friday, and they've got some marvelous items available that will interest fans throughout the Kansas City area. You love the history of the game. Check that out. On the third 3-2 pitch, he again fouls it off, so that's 3 straight that he has struck foul.
Yeah, you know, they have an auction item on that broadcasting auction that you can go to Worlds of Fun with.
How'd you like it? Took the
Bruce
kids in
Chin.
yesterday. Oh, yeah, that's right. With Bruce.
I was trying to think what Royal was going to go. That was a good time. I thought about him yesterday. How much fun you can have with Bruce.
That, too, will get out of play. I'm not sure if you saw it, but Raul Ibanez yesterday, he fouled off about 10 pitches on, I think it was a 3-2 count, and then he homered. It was a pretty dramatic moment for Seattle.
Hopefully that doesn't happen here. Mendoza can give him that little 2-seam sinker. That guy, he's happy about his souvenir.
That one struck well. Deep right center field, and it is gone. Man, we just talked about Ibanez fouling so many off, and now Mendoza on the 5th 3-2 pitch. He throws to Domit. He hits it in the drink.
Lots of times, you know, with each pitch you foul off, you gain more confidence until you wait for the mistake. That's what happened there.
Domit.
Look at all those pitches on our Fox Trax box there, and that was right in the middle. He waited it out. Caught it out front.
So 1-0 Minnesota. One of the rare leads they've had in the season series this year. The Royals swept them back in early April, 3-1, 7-4, and 3-0. They estimated the distance of that home run by Domit at 405 feet. And that is his 4th home run in the last 7 games. Pretty hot.
Yeah, and they knew that coming in. So when you get a guy up there 3-2 and he's fouling off a bunch of your pitches, you know he's trying to lock you in.
The Royal problem has not been their pitching. It has been their offense. And that ball is struck to left field. It will drop. That's a fair ball. And Parmalee's going for two. Here's Alex Gordon's throw. He's out. What's he thinking about? Doesn't he know that's Alex Gordon?
Alex takes extreme pride gunning down guys trying to stretch that single into a double, and this is what he does here. He gets to it quickly, has to plant his feet, and throws a perfect strike to Elliott Johnson. Boy, he's tremendously accurate. The ball's off one foot either side, he's safe. Boy, that is perfect timing. I mean, it's a bang bang play. Great accuracy, and the way he gets to that ball helps an awful lot.
Alex says that might be his favorite play, and he's talking offense, defense. He said throwing out runners is an absolute joy because he said you can see everything happening, developing in front of you, and if your throw is accurate, you're seeing the guy come in, the ball get there, you know, oh, I got a chance, and there it is. Ground ball third, Moustakas, 2 outs.
Sixth outfield assist from Gordon. Beautiful.
Aaron Hicks. He was up in a critical moment in this game after Mendoza walked the first two Twins in the second inning. Dozier was hot. Hicks had been pretty hot, and Florimon were coming up. And he got them to pop up, and ground out to first. A flare to left. That's a base hit for Hicks. And now that throw out by Gordon really is important. It would have either been first and third with 1 out, or they would have sent the runner, and it could have been 2-0. Instead, it's 1-0. Man at first, 2 out. Gordon with a terrific throw to catch Parmalee at second base. Hicks 4 for 6 stealing bases this year.
Mendoza doesn't have to worry about that. Just get the ball to Salvi. Salvi will take care of that running game.
And it's interesting how Salvi angles his body. That was something that was discussed with him by James Shields. James really likes the catcher to angle the body rather than to set straight up at home plate.
Yeah, he's forcing that way right there. He's kind of setting up his body. He's turning it a little.
So he's already in throwing position, and oh, they had a chance.
And Cuzzy, he was getting ready to drop the hammer on him. He was going to be out. So it was just a little bit short. Tough dig for Hosmer.
Yeah, that ball was in the dirt. Still, they're making him shorten his lead. Does not go. 2-1 count. Good running count. Florimon is a swing and miss guy. And he taps that one to second. Johnson will take care of it There's a run home in the inning on the home run by Doman. Minnesota has the early lead, and when we come back, Billy Butler will be leading things off. The Panera way, live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Ford. See the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. 1-0 Minnesota. Billy Butler. They want him to pick things up. Get back in that hit swing mode.
Yep, but he's got to get his pitch. He's got to be able to find the one. Didn't get it in his first time up. He took the walk.
And that was the 33rd time this year that he has received a base on balls. Kansas City knows this is a very important week. The next 6 games are versus the Twins and the Astros, 2 teams that many expected to be at the very bottom in their respective divisions this year. Ned Yost's team had a good start. They were 17-10, but just 6-21 since. Last year, Billy only walked 54 times, Rex. He's already walked 33.
Yeah, well, it's he can't worry about who's hitting behind him. He's just got to concern himself with Billy and who he is, and he's been swinging outside of the zone. Hopefully he can get his focus back. But you're right. The next 10 games can make or break their first half. Really can. They're going to have to pick up some wins and make up for some ground lost.
Big, every single scout we talk to says, what's going on with your ball club? Because they're a better hitting team than this. I mean, they are so far behind in home runs with 29, only 3 in their last 18. That ball well struck left field, and it will make it to the wall. Butler hard around first. And he's into second base with a leadoff double. So they pitch to him, and he doubles.
Hey, but he waited it out. Tenth double for Billy Butler on the season. There it was, belt high, just a little bit above the waist, and there it is. He's going to pull that ball. Going to get it out in front. Okay, here's it out front. Plate's back here. Didn't miss it. Good hip turn. Hips turn just before the hands come through. Great balance there.
The Royals are 0 for 1 in this game with runners in scoring position. 180 over their last 10 games. And Lorenzo Cain, he was the man who had runners in scoring position in the first inning when he grounded out to third. He didn't like that call by home plate umpire Mike Estabrook.
Yeah, well, this is one of the things that Cain needs to start doing again, like he was doing, being aggressive early in the count. They try to get that first pitch in on you, then they can mess with you. Yeah, he's 2 good pitches in a row now that he's had. Okay, now Duno has got that big curveball.
He had a chance to send that down the right field line a little late on his swing.
But that's the right approach. He's got a 2-strike approach here. He's going to try to compete in this at bat. Early in the count, when you've got the pitcher, even or early with the runner in scoring position, those are the pitches that you got to be aggressive on. So then when you get down in the count like this with the runner in scoring position, you fight, you claw, you spread that plate out a little bit and chip in there if you can.
Almost clipped him on the shoulder. Instead, the count moves to 2-2. Duno has walked 1. He has struck out 2.
Now, we've seen this Royals this season get hot. Now, 8 times they've batted around. Now, that's about middle of the pack in the American League. But 8 times this year, they've hit 1 through 9 in 1 inning. They can do it. You just got to catch it. It's got to be contagious. Start doing some frenzy hitting again, but we haven't seen that in quite some time.
Samuel's beginning to let the Royals' Lorenzo Cain back in the count. Had him down 0-2. Now he has moved it back even. Samuel has thrown 39 strikes. 28 pitches have missed. Total of 67 in the game. And he waves at a good breaking ball and strikes out. Fans, join us as we turn back the clock this Saturday for a retro night experience at the ballpark when the Royals play the Houston Astros. The first 10,000 fans will receive a retro powder blue jersey presented by Fox Sports Kansas City. Go to Royals.com or call 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. See if Moose can get him home. High in the air. Butler will not go.
And it's a good thing.
Yep.
Because Hicks has a cannon.
So Salvador Perez hit the ball in the screws his first time up, but right at the shortstop. And you wonder how aggressively they'll pitch to Salvador. He's really been great at pitches middle away from him, lining the ball sharply to right field. But we remembered a lot of times last year where he got the ball middle in and he was really able to turn on it, drive it down the line. It has been 78 at bats since his only home run this year. And this is a guy with power. That home run came off Scott Kazmir on April 27th. 0-1.
Salvi's 26 for 71. Make it 72 after that first at bat here at the K this season. That's 366 average. He loves hitting here.
Pulls it to Carroll. That will do it for Kansas City. 0 for 3 with a man in scoring position in the 4th. Not good. Royals in person. Now they've added StubHub fan rewards so you can earn a little extra with your tickets, like seat upgrades. So head to StubHub and get your Royals tickets today. Luis Mendoza heads to the 5th inning. He's allowed 1 run on 3 hits in his first 4 innings. It was a leadoff home run by Ryan Doumit in the 4th. Now Jamie Carroll up for the 3rd time. Has walked in the 1st. He grounded out in the 3rd. Center field, Lorenzo Cain. 1 out. Time for our AT&T trivia question. I wonder if it's about Joe Mauer. Who was the last player to retire with a career average higher than Joe Mauer's .324? Could it have been Rod Carew? He was a Minnesota Twin. George Brett finished at .305, the only Royal ever to be at .300. And Billy Butler, there's a fly ball struck to deep left field. It's off the wall, and Mauer will take second base with a 1-out double.
I like Rod Carew. That's a good guess.
Tony Oliva was a great hitter in his day until his knees started going south. You see 18 doubles for Mauer. That ties him for 4th in the American League. Manny Machado of Baltimore is just having a terrific year.
The ball was up and in on him. He's able to get fully extended, get those arms out there and go the opposite way. He's got great back control.
Machado with 25 doubles to lead the American League. Here's Willingham lined out, hit by a pitch. I shouldn't really say he was hit by a pitch. He was grazed on the thread of his left sleeve by a pitch.
Best kind you can get hit by.
Leaves no bruise. 34 years old, out of Florence, Alabama. Mendoza's given up 4 hits. Deduno just 3. Willingham drove in 110 last year, but only 29 in the season's first 2 months this year. And he rips that one past Moustakas into the corner. Mauer comes around to score, and Gordon will be able to hold Willingham to 1 base, but it's 2-0 Minnesota.
He loves anything middle in. He's looking in there. So if you make a mistake, that's where he's looking. Fortunate that ball stayed in the yard. He's got that pull power. Moosed it all he could. Fully extended.
Morneau's lined out, grounded out. Nice block by Salvador. No advance by Willingham. These Twins trying to recover from an awful 2012. They lost 96 games last year. They were dead last in home runs with 131. Hochevar started to warm up in the Kansas City pen as Mendoza's next pitch will be his 90th, and not yet through 5 innings. They'd like to be in the 7th at least with that many pitches thrown. And there's a base hit to right field. So 3 straight hits off Luis Mendoza. The double by Mauer, the single by Willingham, and the single by Justin Morneau. And Island will make another visit. He wants to keep this game close because the team that is challenging Minnesota has been challenged themselves offensively. Ned Yost, he said before the ball game, it's going to take time to get this offense in gear. We have seen some improvements since George took over. Some of their teammates say he has changed the mood just having him around.
Well, sure. He doesn't have to have a bigger position on the team as just the hitting coach. He's in that dugout now, so they all hear him, and it's all about your approach, how hard you play, and hopefully he's doing some talking with him about getting runners in scoring position, finding ways, be creative. They've talked Mendoza into a double play here, though.
Last time he made a visit, he was able to get a couple of pop-ups and a ground out after he had walked the first two men, but Domet recently 4 home runs in the last 7 games. Keep her down.
That's it. Pitch to contact down in the zone. He'll hit it at somebody. He pulled off of that pitch big time now. It's not a bad thing to back him off and then go outside. I haven't seen him use a lot of changeups tonight. He hasn't used very many.
Well, they went with the fastball that time, and Domet swung and missed, and the count is 1-2. Even though Minnesota had struggled at the start of the year and now has moved in front of the Royals, they're a much more veteran-oriented team with Carroll 39, Mauer 29, Willingham 34, Morneau 31, Domet 32. These are guys who are professional hitters. Their problem has been with their pitching staff and not their offense necessarily.
They have a similar starting staff like the Royals had last season. Bullpen's being used heavily.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Just by Escobar into center field. This will make it 3-0. 4 straight hits for Minnesota.
Mendoza falling behind in the count, and also his location was not good. He was elevating a lot of pitches.
And Ned Yost will make that slow walk to the mound as we take a look at that last pitch. Not a bad pitch, Hud. Moving away from him, he had to reach for it.
Well, that's called shortening the swing up. He just shortened it up to do what he could to get it in. Escobar did all he could.
So Mendoza's evening is over. He only lasted 4 1/3 and has given up 3 runs so far. Luke Hochevar will try and get him out of trouble in our Chevy call to the bullpen. We'll be right back. Only source for live baseball everywhere you go. At Bat delivers Royals baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, breaking news, and video highlights. Download At Bat now on your app store or text At Bat to 31826. It almost sounds like a different language you're reading when you talk about all of the apps they have now where you can get sports information. Well, our new pitcher is Luke Hochevar, and he has a solid 3.05 ERA, an excellent whip at 0.97. The big, strong right-hander out of the state of Colorado comes on to face Chris Parmelee. Parmelee 1 for 1, singled his last time up, but was thrown out trying to advance from first to second into a double, and Alex Gordon tossed him out for his 6th assist of the year.
Hochevar, he's inherited 7 base runners this year coming out of that pen, and he's given up 3 of those.
Help out Mendy. Popped him up. Fouling out of play. And Ryan Lefebvre made a nice catch.
I lost it. And so can the outfielders. This is the time of night where that ball gets up there in the sky, and it's the same color as the sky. So that came out of nowhere. Landed right,
there he is.
Right in Ryan's lap.
He just saved Denny. Now let's see Hoch get Parmelee, and he swings and skies it in the air to the right side. Foul territory. Lowe trying to find it, and he does, and fire a strike towards second base. And it's a nice backup, though, by Moustakas. We're very fortunate that Domet didn't try to advance because he would have been able to get there. But David Lowe looked like he had trouble pulling that ball out of the twilight HUD.
He did. See, he's taking another look up there. I mean, it's hard to, if you're an outfielder, especially to take your eye off the ball and run to the place where you think it's going to be and then look up again and try to find it. So you can't take your eye off it at all. He didn't see it at all. And fortunate that it came out and he was able to get under it.
Now Hochevar needs to get Brian Dozier. The inning started innocently when Mendoza got Jamie Carroll on a fly to center field. But 4 straight hits, a Mauer double, and 3 straight singles by Willingham, Morneau, and Domet have made it 3-0. 2-0.
Hoch pitched the final 2 innings against the Rangers on Friday. Gave up a home run to Beltre and got a pair of strikeouts, giving him 20 strikeouts in 20 2/3 innings. So he's got that strikeout in him. He's got to get ahead. Got to get in there.
2-1. Took a little bit off that time, and Dozier was looking for the greater velocity on his fastball. Dozier out of Tupelo, Mississippi. Good block by Salvador, or that would have scored a run, made it 4-0.
Yep, great block. Goes to both knees, thumbs out, keeps it right in front of him. Textbook. It's just how you teach it.
And I believe that they're going to keep Domet at first base and wait until it's a 3-2 count before sending him, so Hoch can just focus right on the hitter. Here's the pitch, and it is wide, ball 4, so the bases will be loaded. And young and talented Aaron Hicks will be the batter. Hicks was the guy who had an absolutely sensational spring training, hitting .370 with 4 home runs, 18 RBIs, and as soon as the bell sounded for the beginning of regular season, he couldn't buy a hit.
It's because it changes.
Oh, man.
Pitchers, they start hitting their spots early, and typically that early in the season, pitching's ahead of the hitters. You can find yourself in a real mess. He hadn't been able to climb out of it average-wise, but he hasn't run into 6 homers, though. He's 1 for 7 with him loaded up this year so far, is Hicks.
Ball 1. Still, despite the beginning that's been so frustrating, he still leads all rookies in the American League with runs scored, 24. Got it on his hands at 94 miles an hour, and the count moves to 1-1.
He's got 17 walks. That's not too bad for a young guy. Most guys try to hack their way on.
One and two.
.246 on base percentage, not very good for a leadoff hitter.
You throwing that pitch again?
I might stay with it.
Moore knows at third, Domitz at second, Dozier's at first. Royals still in it. Hoach needs to keep him in it. He did go at the breaking ball, but this time a little shorter, and Hicks recognized it where he didn't bite. This is the pitch he wants to make. He does not want to be 3-2 with the bases loaded.
Hoach has that good power fastball. It's try to aim it downhill and keep it at the knees. Maybe he'll hit it at somebody. Or swing and miss. It's a power pitch. Blow it by him.
He went with another breaking ball, a little cut fastball. It was down and in, and Hicks very fortunate to be able to make contact. He's gone curve, cutter. Ooh. And that's the pitch you were talking about, Rex. That fastball that was good down angle.
Power in. Try it again.
Man, that had late life.
It did. It had a lot of movement away. Most guys are going to swing and miss at that. So he did a good job taking. Try it again.
Go ahead and challenge him. He does, and pops him up. Perez, basket catch. Coach leaves him loaded. Royals need to turn their offense on. Down 3-0. Bottom 5.
Salvi, make sure of it. Cradle that baby in. Start getting some hits.
San Diego, Los Angeles. They're saying that young Yasiel Puig looks like a young Bo Jackson. He catches it, throws to first, game over on the double play. That was Puig's major league debut, 22 years old, 6'3", 245 pounds, 2 for 4 on the night, and that play, guys, he defected last May from Cuba, and the Dodgers signed him to a 7-year, $42 million deal with a $12 million signing bonus.
Joel, we saw him in spring training, and he was unreal. It seemed like every time he swung the bat, a line drive came off it. Some went in the alleys, some went over the fences, some went right at players, but it was amazing watching him. And here we come. We are joined by a guy who only threw line drives. Jeff Montgomery along with Rex Hudler. And Monty, good to see you. Mendoza was working very, very well and just could not get the ball down in that final frame.
You know, the thing that seemed to me, Steve, was he was not in a lot of counts where he could throw that breaking ball. And I think that breaking ball is a key for him. When he's able to put hitters away with his curveball, he's a much better pitcher. But behind in counts and not in situations to throw it as effectively tonight.
You're right. And a lot of full counts, a lot of 3-2 counts. They were taxing him, fouling off some pitches. And it started with Ryan Doman. Fouled off all those 3-2 pitches and finally hit a homer. And then the next inning, he gave up 2 and couldn't stay in.
David Lowe just grounded out for the first out. When I look up, and after 4 1/3 innings, Mendoza has thrown more than 90 pitches. I'm going, uh-oh. Here is Elliott Johnson. Grounded out to second his first time up and fouls this one off. A 2-2 count.
You see, with Mendoza over his last starts, he's been effective, but he's not gone deep in games. He's got a couple innings where he went, games where he went 6 innings, a 5 and a 5 2/3. You just have to get deeper into the games, and pitch efficiency is going to be important for everyone, especially a guy like Mendoza that wants a pitch to contact.
That's what surprised me. I thought he would have more 75 pitches through 7 innings because he does have that good sinking fastball where he does get a lot of ground outs. But is it the inability to repeat a pitch in the same spot that he just threw? He'll throw a magnificent sinking fastball and then one wide of the target.
Well, the one key word for every pitcher that's so important is command. And when he has the command, he goes out and he makes it look very easy. And unfortunately, we're looking at Dino here. He's a guy that's made it look easy tonight, as have a lot of pitchers that the Royals have faced as of late. Guys that don't have great numbers, but they're, because the Royals were maybe over aggressive, not taking a lot of pitches, they're making the other pitcher look like a Cy Young.
And Samuel Deduno, if you look at his career, he's had success against impatient teams, and he has had trouble against the patient ones. And as an example, in his 2 starts this year for Kansas City, Detroit pounded him, patient team. Milwaukee, not so patient, and he went 7 innings, gave up 1 run.
And he drilled a few guys, too. So, you know, that kind of puts them on their heels some. That's what we talked about, Deduno being effectively wild.
Elliott Johnson with a good lead at first base. He is 8 for 8 stealing bases this year, but the team trails by 3. We're in the 5th inning. And this is a team struggling to score runs, 3 home runs last 18 games. Why not speed things up?
He looked like he was going to steal that last pitch.
Does not go. It's outside, 1-1. Alex has grounded out twice. Once to first, once to the mound. One and 2. Well, Alex gave him an opportunity to go.
Slowed that ball down, looked like a BP fastball on the outside corner.
Like he tried to turn that one over, just get a little extra life on it.
He looked like he altered from his normal 4-seamer.
Well, they say even playing catch, this guy's very difficult to make the ball go straight. So that's indicative of his game tonight.
Uh-oh. That's a line out that results in an inning-ending double play. We head to the 6th inning. Minnesota 3, Kansas City nothing. Hochever. He will face Pedro Florimon, Jamie Carroll, and Joe Mauer here in inning number 6. Florimon 0 for 2 with a couple of groundouts, one to first, the other to second base.
Time for Bruce to mix them all up on him. Not overpowering at all. Going to throw 4 or 5 different pitches. Keep the ball down is the main thing. Salvi's telling him right here with some body language.
One ball, 2 strikes.
Maybe Bruce Chin can be the guy that gets this offense going. I remember a couple games early in the year when the Royals were playing well. He came in, got the job done, held them for a few innings, and the Royals offense woke up late, and as a result they had some of those come from behind victories. Bruce got a couple of wins out of those.
A few runs they've been scoring, the Royals offensively, have come late. They're not getting too many runs off starters. I mean, getting into some bullpens.
Was that game at Houston where they were trailing like 3-0, and Chen was able to throw a couple of shutout innings, and then they scored like 7 runs the last 3 innings of that game. The 1-2 is, did he check his swing? He did. And it is a 2-2 count. Rex and I were talking, Jeff, about how this next week and a half so important with the 2 teams coming in, Minnesota and Houston, an opportunity to stop the bad stuff. They have to pick up their offense, which has been dreadful the last 2 weeks, averaging 2.2 runs per game. It has been a month of frustration for that man. Popped up right side, Elliott Johnson. 1 out.
Steve, we're talking a little bit about Luis Mendoza not finding the location. We see Ryan Doumit getting a pitch up in the middle part of the plate and driving it out of the ballpark. And then Joe Mauer, same thing, ball up, out, able to get that bat extended, goes the other way with it with the double.
3 runs on 7 hits for Minnesota, 0 on 3 for Kansas City. And here's Jamie Carroll for the 4th time. A walk, Ground out, a fly out. Not only that, but the Royals are going to be very involved this week on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday because they have 3 of the first 46 picks in the Major League Baseball draft. That ball hit high in the air, playable for either Gordon or Kane. It's going to be Lorenzo to make the catch for out number 2. All right, Monty, we're going to involve you. We have asked the AT&T trivia question. We really had Joe Mauer. We're thinking about who was the last player to retire with a career average higher than Joe Mauer's 324.
Well, I had some really good guesses, but I was not right. I know who the answer is, but I went with Wade Boggs. Came to mind immediately to me. Yep. I thought Wade Boggs has got to be one of the guys, and apparently he's in the top 5 or maybe even the top 3, but that is not the right answer.
I went with Rod Carew, and let's see if that was accurate.
I do have a hint for you. It is a National Leaguer.
Oh, okay. What's Barry Bonds' career average?
Got to go Southern California. He had a brother that played for the Royals.
George?
No, George was at 305, and Mauer grounds out. We'll give you the answer when we come back because we've got a commercial break, and that's really important. Last player to retire with a career average higher than Joe Mauer's 324. We were thinking L.A., but should have said a guy from Long Beach,
Tony
who
Gwynn.
then played for San Diego. Tony Gwynn retired with a 338 career batting average. What a great guy, too. And fans, the 6th inning is our Sonic Slam inning, and we're hoping this happens. Our contestant is Steve Lacerda from Olathe. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Steve will win $1,900. But if the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Steve will win $25,000 from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. And Steve, we hope you win $25,000. Royals could use a big fly in a big way, and Escobar will lead it off. He is 1 for 2. Single to right field, back in the 3rd. Duno has just gotten more and more confidence as this game has progressed. And even his skipper Ron Gardenhire told us he is what he is. He's going to wing it and he's going to misfire. That ball lined towards center field, and Hicks comes on. Did he make the play? Yes, he did. I'm telling you what, the Royals have not hit the ball well. but they have also hit with a lot of misfortune the last month with a lot of lineouts.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's been all over the highlight reels with his defense. He's been fabulous. I mean, he's been on a tape every night.
Here is our AT&T U-verse rewind. This was his great catch to Rob Gomez, I believe, of a home run.
Yep, that's in Minnesota, that short little wall they got in center field. He's just got tremendous athleticism.
He's got some vertical, that's for sure.
He does, and he's got a good instincts. That ball, that sinking liner that Escobar hit, he came right in on contact. He's able to read it.
Hosmer has reached on an infield hit, also struck out swinging.
Duno, he's starting out a lot of Royals hitters with that big breaking ball. Usually that's his finish off pitch, but it's been getting him to swing at it, so he keeps throwing it.
Well, that's been the challenge. We were talking about the impatient teams have not had success, and the Royals would be included in that. They always say put yourself in a good hitter's count, be aggressive with that fastball. Chases a pitch that is not in the strike zone and strikes out for the second time. Duno got his first career win against Kansas City at the K last year on July 22nd. Gave up 1 run and 6 1/3, trying to outdo that. Here's Billy. Billy has walked and doubled.
Rex, you mentioned Duno starting a lot of hitters off with that breaking ball. That's a sign of pitcher having confidence, and in all of his stuff, he's really pitching backwards instead of using the fastball to get ahead, using that breaking ball to get ahead. Then that fastball becomes even a better pitch.
Yeah, he's looking like 20-game winner.
He does. He's looked really solid. And they say he could look great on any given night, or he could really struggle, maybe not even get into the 5th inning. And tonight, obviously, he's got his A game.
And that's what Gardenhire said. It kind of depends if they're swinging at it. Well, if they are, he can go deep. Royals are swinging at it. And he's a guy who spent 9 years in the minor leagues with bits of times in the majors with the Rockies and the Padres. Finally found a majority of the season last year with Minnesota. And he won 6 games, lost 5. His home road splits really favor being at Target Field, as he came in with a road ERA of over 6. But not tonight. Well, Billy's being patient. Prince Fielder leads the American League in walks with 35. Billy's just 2 behind him. He's tied with Bautista and Willingham. In there. Strike 3 call.
Start him with the hook and finish him off with a hook. Duno is on top of his game.
By 5 Hour Energy. And by Quiznos. By the new Chicken Fajita Sub. Seventh inning we go. Josh Willingham, the batter. He's lined out, been hit by a pitch, and singled to drive in a run, and then came around to score the third run in that 2-run fifth. Minnesota with a run in the fourth and 2 in the fifth. Bruce, that big overhand curveball that is said to be high. Jen with a 1-2-3 sixth inning. Keep a minute, Bruce. Monty, you've been in that bullpen before. You've been in that dugout before, and you've been with teams that have struggled offensively. As a pitching staff, what is that like?
Unfortunately, Steve, you know how the team's going offensively, and I know starting pitchers, they understand that. They get it, and they go out there with that attitude that I can't give up more than a couple of runs, and sometimes guys fold under that pressure. But we've seen, for the most part, the Royals pitching staff, they've really risen to the occasion. And they've really gone out and given their team a chance to stay in ball games and chances to win some games late. So you got to credit the staff for not putting that undue pressure on themselves, but you know they have. And I think the biggest pressure from the guys in the bullpen, we saw Aaron Crow in St. Louis. You finally get a lead and you go out there, then you're not able to hang on to it, or you tie up a game and you go out and you can't hang on to it. We saw J.C. Gutierrez in a game the other night in St. Louis. It's pressure. You know that you're not going to score a bunch of runs, so you can't afford mistakes. And again, oftentimes the guys in the bullpen, they put that pressure on themselves, and one mistake will cost you a ball game.
Because they've been involved with so many close games. It's hard to believe that the worst record in the American League in games decided by 2 runs or less by percentage is a team in first place. The Detroit Tigers are 8-16 in games decided by 2 runs. But Kansas City has played in more. They played in 30 and they are 12-18. So they're right behind Detroit.
Sometimes numbers don't add up in the game of baseball. That's the way it is sometimes. And like Minnesota was in a funk scoring 2.9 runs a game. They've come out of that, and the Royals will too. You just wonder when.
Every time we set up a show, we think today's the day.
Really,
love the matchup.
That's all the hitters can think when they come to the ballpark.
How about Bruce Chen? He strikes out Willingham and now gets Justin Morneau waving at one that, Rex, you need a boat oar to hit.
Yep, or a tennis racket. That's exactly what that pitch is designed for. Start at the hitter and ends up way out of the zone. Take enough velocity off of it, get some maximum break. Now, if he can get this guy out right here, he'll have done something.
Because Domit's been incredibly hot and 2 for 2 today.
So switch him
home
over.
Run and a single that drove in a run.
Yeah, put him on the right side of the plate. See what he can do there.
And speaking of hot bats, we asked you earlier, there's Sprint question, who's the hottest bat in the last 3 weeks? 38% Dominic Brown of Philadelphia. Cabrera, he just does it every week, so he's just hot. How about that? The ball hit the bat, and Escobar bare hands and throws out Domin. The bat breaks, rolls out towards Sharp. It's like bumper pool here at the K, and Escobar played the ball coming off the wood perfectly.
Ball took a funny hop. That's
never seen that one before.
Yeah.
The best deals on new Ford cars and trucks. Visit thoroughbredford.com today. Steve Physiok, Jeff Montgomery, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg is somewhere in this building. He is doing research. And here is Lorenzo Cain, who will try and give the Royals a start in the 7th inning. He is 0 for 2. Rounding out to third and striking out.
All right. There's their hope. Getting that bullpen.
Casey Fiend is the right-hander who is warming nearest to us. Brian Dunsing, the other. He's the lefty. Duduno has walked a couple in the game, but he's been much like the pitcher that the Milwaukee Brewers saw last week, and a swing and a miss, 2-2.
Rex oftentimes getting into the bullpen is a solution for potentially scoring some runs, but this Minnesota Twins bullpen has been very good this year as a result of their starting pitchers not going deep in games. A lot like the Royals bullpen was last year. A lot of people thought they were overworked, but they were all very consistent. They were all very sharp. And I thought last year our version of our bullpen last year was a lot better than it has been so far this year.
He tried that curveball over the inner half, much like he threw Billy Butler. Now he comes with another curve, and that ball is ripped to the left center gap, and it will be up against the wall. Cain will cruise into second base with a leadoff double.
All right, that's a start, and he barreled this one up. Like an off-speed pitch, a changeup that floated up there to Cain. And that ball was saying, hit me.
Yeah, they finally got one in the middle of the plate and was able to handle it.
Yeah, he took care of that exactly like he should have, and Gardenhire's going to come out now.
Yeah, I figured he had that left-hander waiting for Mike Moustakas. And he had Brian Dunsing up, who has been his guy to go to. And you have Moustakas followed by a right-handed swinging Salvador Perez. So we'll see Brian Dunsing come out of that Minnesota pen. Former roommate at Nebraska of Alex Gordon. Going 6 strong innings, but to lead off the bottom of the 7th, a double by Lorenzo Cain knocked him out. So Dunsing comes on to get the Royals lefty Mike Moustakas. Royal fans believe. And Moose rips one right center, caught by the right fielder Chris Parmalee. Tagging at second, moving to third is Lorenzo Cain.
Okay, you know what? He hit it hard, and it was a productive out. That's what you take from that at-bat. Moved him over. George Brett saying, okay, let's try to find a positive there before you tear up the clubhouse in the dugout.
Absolutely. You got to get one before you can get more.
That's a productive out. He hit the ball hard. He was waiting for the first pitch. And Dunsing, he'll give you something. He's a low 90s sinker baller. He's got a slider.
And they did have Casey Fiend warming up, a right-hander, and that likely will be the next pitcher to come on for the Minnesota Twins as Dunsing faces one batter and comes out. It will be right-hander Casey Fiend when we come back. Comes out of the bullpen, 4.7 earned run average. He has 23 strikeouts in 23 innings, and he will face Salvador Perez, who's lined out and grounded out.
Okay, looking there early. Sinker slider change.
Go for it early,
That's
and
it.
he rips it foul, strike one.
Glad to see it now. That's the last two hitters that have come up and swung at the first pitch. That's what you do when you're having trouble scoring runners in scoring position. You got to be ready early.
Good numbers. Salvador, we told you, gone for 9 days on the bereavement list after losing his grandmother. One ball, one strike. Fiend has not given up a run his last 3 outings. But 1 month ago, he allowed 2 home runs at Boston. That will get back and out of play, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kane led the inning off with a double. That took starting pitcher Samuel Deduno out of the game. Dunsing came on. Moustakas lined out to right. Fiend called on to face the right-hander.
Okay, he's got that big slider he can throw out of the strike zone. He's going to try to get Salvi to swing and miss.
He had a good rip at a pitch that caught a lot of the plate.
Yep, just trying to hit that ball anywhere it's pitched. It's close to the strike zone. Go with it.
Get Kane home first.
Yep, anything you can do. Sack fly.
Even on the ground, the infield's playing back. They'll give up a run to get the out.
That's right. Let's put it in play.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
Monty, if you got a guy that's swinging a high fastball, would you throw it again like he just did?
Well, he doubled it up there
Yeah.
from the last one. I don't know if he go 3 in a row, but I think he's got him set up now where he can do a lot. He can try to expand the plate. But I think Salvador Perez, he's just got to make some kind of contact. You cannot go back to the bench with the bat.
In the air, center field. On comes Hicks. He will make the catch. Kane will not go. Oh, man.
Yeah, he's got a cannon. So Salvi couldn't get enough of that. Hicks was drooling, hoping that Kane would go, but Eddie Rodriguez, he knows better than that. As the kid Hicks has 6 outfield assists from center, and that's really good.
He came up throwing. That looked like that was going to be right on the money.
Yeah, you can't send him here. That kid's just way too good. Salvi's frustrated. Everybody's frustrated, and he was coming way in on that ball. There's no way. Now, they would have doubled him up. Inning would have been over. So now at least you have a chance with David Lowe.
And David Lowe has hit pretty well in the clutch this year. Now, he hasn't had that many opportunities since being called up from AAA, but he was the man down at Omaha hitting .340, and he swings at the first pitch. I like that.
Last 3 hitters have all swung at the first pitch. It's close in there. So it looks like they're trying to change a little bit. As before on that road trip, they were taking first pitch strikes with runners in scoring position, and it was sure causing George some fits.
Come on, David, get him home. Kane at third. Ooh, they called that a strike right at the knees.
It's hittable. Maybe not the one David Lowe was looking for, but it's out over the plate. Okay, Fiend going upstairs again, trying to get him to swing out of the strike zone, pop it up. That's what you want to do against a guy like Lowe. No one's doing him a favor, keep throwing balls down in there. He could find a hole that way. He might come back up there again. He threw 2 pitches to Salvi upstairs in a row. See what Maurer calls.
Twice in this game, the Royals have gotten a leadoff double. Twice that man has been left on.
Struggling along with the Royals. Cleveland loses again. Detroit, they are not struggling. 10-1 as they blast Tampa Bay. Anibal Sanchez with the win. Boston a 17 spot in their game. Baltimore right now getting a good performance from Chris Tillman, and they are up 3-1. Danny Valencia the homer. You see the other action in our Mazda game break takes us to New York. First homer of the year last night for Mark Teixeira, who's back and healthy, was a grand slam tonight. As Monty would call it, the 3-run Jimmy John. He goes deep for the second straight night. And the other interesting note, guys, for you, Chicago White Sox trying to avoid their 8th straight loss. Jake Peavy giving up 3 runs in the first inning.
Felix Hernandez is pitching for Seattle in that one.
There's a lot of pain going around, especially in the Central.
Whew. Man, I'm telling you, the Royals opening today a 9-game stay at the K and looking to avoid establishing a club record as they enter tonight riding a 10-game home losing streak, matching the team mark that was set with an 0-10 first homestand last year. Kansas City's victory drought here began with a 2-1 10-inning loss to the White Sox on May 6th.
That Salvi couldn't quite get a glove on that. Mike Estabrook, it rung his bell. Tell you what, I was talking with Joe Mauer about his new helmet. You know, he's got him a new helmet, concussion proof, behind the plate. And the way those catchers and umpires take foul balls off their helmets, that's very dangerous. Especially, you know, you might get 2 a week, sometimes even more. And that's worse than a hitter getting hit in the head one time with a 95-mile-an-hour pitch. It's very dangerous.
We were just in St. Louis that knocked Mike Matheny out of the playing. Now he's a manager, but he suffered so many concussions, the doctor said, you've got to retire from the game as a catcher. Chris Parmelee, the batter. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Ground ball third, Moustakas. Ooh, it took a crazy hop on him, but he stays with it, throws out Parmelee, 1 down. We were talking about that draft. The Royals will pick 8 as you see this bounce.
He had it surrounded, took a hop, but he stayed in front of it.
Thursday, Major League Baseball draft. Everybody's talking about Mark Appel or Jonathan Gray being the 2 players that will go first and second. Royals pick 8th. And the Royals have said we will go for the best player available, whether he's a high school guy or a college guy.
And there's plenty of picks, good prospects from what I understand, college and high school. Position players, pitchers, a lot available this year.
Chris Bryant, one of the best position players. He's the third baseman from the University of San Diego. Watching on MLB today, they had a feature on Clint Frazier and Austin Meadows out of the state of Georgia. They're both from the same Loganville area. If they're available, they might come to Kansas City. But the Royals have 3 of the first 46 selections, and obviously Dayton Moore is looking for depth and talent. Well, fans, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. Alex Gordon would get a lot of people's pick, and he's the guy everybody in Kansas City should check for the All-Star game. He is having a very strong season. Came in with a .326 average, 6 home runs, 31 RBIs, tied for first in multi-hit games with 24, fifth in hits with 73, and just playing remarkable defense. Another assist tonight.
All right, Alex Gordon, he loves it. Talk about his pride he takes in his defense, and he really crashes hard at that line. Comes over through a dart right to Elliott Johnson. Perfect strike thrown. Makes up a lot of ground as he hustles to get that ball. That's how you get that assist. Sure, you got to have an accurate throw, but how quickly can you get to that ball that's in foul territory? And you know, with the warning track like it is, and most warning tracks are pretty soft, so it's not the best footing out there. So Alex is able to get right through it, continue to excel, throwing runners out.
Rex, we've always admired his work ethic. I mean, when he is shagging balls in the outfield during batting practice, he always does everything perfectly. The way he lines up his feet, the way he has them perfect towards the base that he's throwing.
He has the work ethic during BP. Takes a lot of balls off the bat live. course, Rusty Kuntz hits them balls before batting practice starts, and they throw before the first game of a series.
Hicks still down in the count, 1-2. And so many times you see coaches that really work their players hard, but sometimes that can be a negative in baseball. Let's say a young hitter takes 50 swings, well, the last 15 might make him tired, and all of a sudden he's developing bad habits. A lot of the really good hitters will take 15 excellent. Chen's picked up off Dozier, and they've got him at second base. Good job by Bruce.
Yeah, nice try on the slide by Dozier. Whenever you know the ball beats you there, you try to get creative with your slide. A lot of guys will go ahead first. They'll take their left hand away and try to reach around with their right hand. That's what Dozier tries here.
He had already got him.
Yeah, well, that's a good effort.
Good call by second base umpire Tom Hallion. Because the tag was already on the elbow of Dozier when he tried to pull it away and deke the ump. Hicks stays 1-2. Tomorrow night it will be Jeremy Guthrie against P.J. Walters. Then on Thursday, Wade Davis against Mike Pelfrey. In there, strike three called on a slow breaking ball from Bruce. We head to the bottom of the eighth. Johnson, Gordon, Escobar coming up. Twins with a 3-0 lead, and with the fans still believing, they are dancing in the aisles, hoping the Royals offense can light a fire under Elliott Johnson, Alex Gordon, and Alcides Escobar here in inning number 8. Now Jared Burton comes out of the bullpen. You can see his numbers: 2.1 ERA, 26 strikeouts against 10 walks, but he's been even better of late. He has 3 holds and 1 save in his last 4 outings, and over those 4 outings, Rex, he's allowed just 1 base runner. That was a single, holding opponents to an .077 batting average. 1 hit against the 13 men he faced.
It's coming right at you. Fastball, slider.
Strike 1 to Johnson.
A little bit of movement away on this hard fastball.
Royals the last 2 weeks right now averaging 2 runs per game. That ball is whistled down the line, foul, just barely.
Oh, not by much, though. Nope, you can see it. A couple inches foul.
Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. The Twins have a hitting instructor by the name of Tom Brunansky, who's done a fine job with a lot of these young Minnesota Twin hitters, but he was one of those streaky players, Rex, who was either really hot or really cold. Ball fouled right off of Morneau, and that's that mask you were talking about. Joe Mauer. But Tom Brunansky, I remember he was talking about slumps one time, and Brunansky was going through a 2 for 45 slide. And he said, you know, if I get a hit, I might stop the game and ask for the baseball.
It's amazing how you can go into a funk so quickly, and then one little thing brings you out of it.
Royals waiting for that one little thing. Fair. The ball down the line is barely foul. This one is barely fair, and the result is out number 1 of the bottom of the 8th.
Well, one thing that you need to keep doing, and the Royals have been doing that for the most part, is hustling and playing hard, and going and working your way through this, and you know, not pulling up in front of the base, always running past the base, doing the little things. That's the George Brett style. That's what he did, and he's making sure he's getting that across to his players. And nothing worse than cheating your fans, and the Royals haven't been. They've been busting it pretty good. Gotta stay hustling.
Gordon is 0 for 3 with a couple of ground outs and a line out. Minnesota's been able to turn things around. They had lost 10 straight in the month of May and turned that around, won 7 of their next 9. Twins since May 14th. They were 1-11, averaging 2.7 runs per game their first 12 games after May 14th, and then 6-1 since, averaging 5.6 runs per game their last 7, with now 15 home runs. He is really teasing them away, changing speeds with his fastball. Very good command. He was able to get Elliott Johnson out front, and he grounded out to first. Now trying to do the same with Alex Gordon, who's fighting to get on.
Yep, he's been able to hold opponents down to 0.77 average. He's been tough. He's changing speeds. Like you said, Fizz, and there's one who tried to raise the eye level on Gordon, and he said he offered at it. Just couldn't hold off it. After staying down, and you throw that one up with 2 strikes, gets a lot of hitters.
Now Escobar. And if you've just joined us, the Royals today recalled right-handed reliever Kelvin Herrera from AAA Omaha. He had thrown 5 games and not allowed a run. And the option reliever Lewis Coleman back to the Storm Chasers. Salvador Perez also joining the club. And one more move, interesting move, Quentin Berry was released by the Detroit Tigers, claimed by the Royals, and sent to AAA. And he's a very fleet-footed outfielder. There is Herrera. We thought he might get up this inning, but it looks like Chen's going to come back out for the 9th. I thought they'd send Chen for 3, but it looks like Bruce will go for 4.
He's done a good job of holding him down.
Yeah, Bruce came on in the 6th inning after Mendoza gave up all 3 runs in 4 1/3 innings. Swing and a miss, and Burton strikes out Escobar, and the Royals' futility continues here at the K.
Montgomery. We will be there for Boulevard Royals Live out at Rivals. Bonnie will talk a little bit more about Luis Mendoza's struggles tonight. Offense, haven't seen any of it yet. See if they can get that going late. And Bruce Chen trying to figure things out and finish things out for the Royals. We'll break it down and have reaction from the clubhouse coming up after the game.
Thank you very much, Joel. As Bruce Chen will try and go 4 shutout innings. He's done a remarkable job. Came on in the 6th, he retired his first 7 before the walk to Brian Dozier, but he picked him off, so he's faced the minimum, just 9 batters through his 3 innings.
Yeah, no, he's done his job. He's mixing them up, big curveballs, changeups, fastballs, changing speeds on all of them. Really, that's all you can do. Come in and hold them and hope your offense comes back.
And, you know, they are going to go through some difficult times, but you take a look at the Royals as a system, as an organization, and it does give you a lot of hope. There's a ball that just is over the glove of Elliott Johnson. I think it may have trimmed the laces on his glove as it went into right center field, and that is the first base hit off Bruce Chen.
Yeah, Elliott, he timed this perfectly, too. Look at the hops. Man, that's way up there.
He's got a 42-inch vertical.
Oh, no
Did you
question.
know that?
Yeah, I heard that.
He can, from just standing still, can leap up off 2 feet and dunk a basketball.
Oh, man, he got some hang time.
In the right side, David Lowe. Rex, today the Royals did promote Giordano Ventura from AA, the hard-throwing right-hander from Northwest Arkansas, who had a 2.34 ERA at AA. And that young man had 74 strikeouts and 57 2/3, so that's a good sign. And the rotation down at AAA is pretty good with Will Smith. He has a 3.2 ERA. Chris Dwyer, his is right about that area, 3.5, 3.6. And Ventura and Ryan Verdugo, that's a pretty good rotation.
Yeah, it is.
I know there are some fans that were frustrated about Kyle Zimmer's 0-5 start down an A ball, but his hits to innings pitch and his strikeouts to innings pitch are excellent. 65 Ks and 52 in the third. And J.J. Picola said he has really looked good. His stuff is outstanding. There are times, though, he does not locate his 96, 97 mile an hour fastball, and he's given up a few doubles and homers that have hurt him. But he said it's good to go through the learning process early.
That's right. See if Bruce can tease Mauer here. Something off speed down.
1 out, 1 on. 3-0 Minnesota. This is the second time that Bruce has faced Joe, and he got him on a grounder to second base his first time up. That would be nice. Royals will have hitters 3, 4, and 5 coming up in the 9th. That means Hosmer, Butler, and Kane. And Kansas City with a full complement on their bench. 2 left-handers, Getz and Gutierrez. 2 right-handers, Francoeur and Tejada. Balls, 2 strikes.
Mauer loves to use the opposite field, man. He stays inside that ball. His hit earlier, he got that ball was 2 inches inside, and he shot it to the gap in left center. Now he can't pull, but he prefers to use a large part, just like that.
Gordon going back, still going back up against the fence. He pulls it down for out number 2. Boy, that ball had some carry.
Sure was. The wind's not really blowing that hard right now. He supplied most of that. Gordon back on the warning track.
You remember Mauer, that first homestand of the year, taking one down the left field line and barely curling it inside the foul pole for a 2-run home run. But the Royals would win all 3 of those games, 3-1, 7-4, 3-0. Santana, Guthrie, and Davis got those wins. Remember, the weather was pretty lousy. First homestand of the year.
Oh,
it was great for opening day.
Yeah, but rain came.
And then the rain came on Tuesday and Wednesday. Here's Willingham. Takes a strike.
Okay, they believe Willingham's going to pull the ball. Lorenzo Cain, he's almost into the left center field gap. David Lowe, the right fielder, he swung over too, leaving a big hole in right center. Willingham and most hitters got to really wait on Bruce. They just got to wait, be patient. And that ball will get to you. But you don't know what to expect from him.
Glenn Perkins is the Minnesota closer, and he is already ready to go for Minnesota. He has 11 saves this year. We told you he will face hitters 3, 4, and 5 for Kansas City in the 9th. Rides up and in. 3-1. Don't make a mistake to this guy, because he very quickly could make it 5-0. Into left field. Florimon had to wait to see if it was going to be caught by Moustakas, and now he advances to second base. So Bruce will have a lefty-lefty matchup. He might be tiring. He's thrown 55 pitches. Now he's one of the long relievers, but he hasn't gone this distance in a while. Royals do have J.C. Gutierrez ready in the Kansas City pen, and They have a left-hander right now in Justin Morneau, and then a switch-hitting catcher in Ryan Domit to follow.
Here they're going to talk about it now.
Two on, two out. Or no calls time. Justin short, quick stroke. Very strong. First pitch, breaking ball, ball one. We got a fly right next to his nose. That was bothering, so he wanted to call time and back off. And explained that to Estabrook.
Yeah, that takes your focus away.
How about that 69-mile-an-hour curveball from Bruce Chen, and a swing and a miss as Morneau was waiting and waiting and waiting for it to finally arrive. Right down the middle at 85, and it's probably seemed like 95 after seeing that slow breaker.
Morneau just 245 off of lefties this year, no homers.
Well, he probably has Justin thinking. Probably thinking, I have no idea what he is going to throw because he's thrown everything, including the kitchen sink, in this duel.
Throw it here.
This kitchen sink?
That's right. Down low. Okay, Bruce trying hard. He wants to get this last out. He's working. Tommy's saying keep the ball down, whatever you do. Runners will be moving.
Tough play for Moose. He had no chance to get Morneau, and the bases will be loaded.
Okay, so Ned's got a decision to make. Does he want to put Doman on the right side or the left side?
I just think, Rex, do you think it might be more the fact that maybe Bruce has run out of gas?
Yeah, for sure. You got to get him out. No question. Hey, Moose did the right thing. There's no chance. Try to force the ball. We get him at first base, might have threw it away.
And Ned with a pat on the back. Job well done for Bruce Chen. Now JC makes sure he throws 3 2/3 innings of shutout baseball as Gutierrez's job get one man out. chance for Kansas City, but J.C. Gutierrez must keep the Twins quiet here in the top half of the ninth. J.C. this year, a 4.4 ERA. He has 10 strikeouts in his 13 games this year, and he usually works just one inning. So Gutierrez will come on and try and get Ryan Domit, who has been one of the Twins' hottest hitters the last week. 4 home runs the last week, including one tonight.
Okay, he's got 96 in his arm, and he'll throw that big curveball. Got occasional changeup he'll mix in. Domit's already had a game. He's looking for more. Home run got it all started in the 4th inning from the left side.
And that was really a terrific at bat as JC delivers strike one, because he had a 3-2 count, fouled off 4 pitches, and on the 5th pitch on a 3-2 count, he hit it over the right center field wall. Good pitch as he kept that fastball down. Late movement, 0-2.
Yeah, good aggressive.
Throw that again.
Yeah, good spot there. Salvi setting that target out there for him to hit it. He's got great movement. This, if he locates. Got to be able to stay out of the middle.
Especially see where Salvador's setting up.
Yeah, especially 0-2. Yeah, perfect spot.
Ooh. Didn't miss by much. And Perez did not move his glove. Would you stay outside in this guy?
Yep. I'm going to think about coming in. I might try my breaking ball on him here. Trust that Salvi can block it if it's in the dirt. Keep it down.
And Salvador asked for just that, and he blocked the one in the dirt. Count evens 2-2. Does not want to go 3-2 to Domit. Very disciplined hitter.
Challenge him away.
Good pitch. Twins came in at 25-29, third in the Central, 4.5 games back of Detroit. Royals at 23-31. Last in the Central, but only 6.5 games back of Detroit.
So he's doing what he did against Mendoza. Now to Gutierrez. Fouling off anything close. He's in a groove.
They're coming in. He has thrown him 7 quality pitches.
And he's just foul tipping them. Maybe you try that big curve again.
He's had such good command with the fastball, though. Elliott Johnson grabs it, fires a strike, and the inning is over. Twins lead 3. We head to the 9th. Good job by Gutierrez. Even better by Chen. The Royals still with a chance with the middle of the order coming up. inning. Eric Hosmer, Billy Butler, Lorenzo Cain will be coming up. A lot of the fans have their rally caps on. And here is the closer for Minnesota, Glenn Perkins. He has been solid this year with a 3.05 ERA, 11 saves, 33 strikeouts, Rex, in 20 2/3 innings. First man he'll face, Eric Hosmer.
Yep, he likes to set up that real good slider with a mid-90s fastball. He's got a change-up that he throws to righties, but very good location.
Hosmer 1 for 3. That was an infield hit in the first. And he takes a rip, had a good swing at the fastball, but now he is set up for that excellent slider. Start a rally, get a base hit to left field.
Anything.
Will likely be working you away. They will.
He's a strikeout pitcher. I mean, he likes to go right at guys and finish them off with that breaking ball. If you're a righty, he's got a very effective changeup. And he hasn't always been a closer in his career. He was a starter. They put him in the pen as a long man. Then he's kind of worked his way gradually as the confidence came. We've seen him. He's been around a long time.
2.5 ERA in 65 games last year, mainly out of that bullpen. Ooh, barely missed away. 2-2. Royals need to get 2 on to bring the tying run to the plate. He went.
Yep. Climbs the ladder. There's a lot of strikeouts up there. And it's hard to lay off.
Billy Butler and Lorenzo Cain will go back to back. They gave the Royals their greatest opportunities in this game to score, both with leadoff doubles. But the Royals' inability to get those guys around have left it at 3-0. Billy doubled to lead off the fourth, but Cain struck out, Moustakas flied out, and Salvador Perez grounded out. After Cain doubled in the seventh, Moustakas' first pitch hit the ball in the screws but lined out to the right fielder. Salvador Perez flied out to shallow center field, and Cain, who had advanced on the line out by Moustakas, was unable to score, and David Lowe grounded out. Two and two.
He uses changeups to finish off righties, or he might try to come upstairs on Billy.
Billy breaks his bat, sends it to the second baseman, and he'll take care of Billy, and there's 2 out now in the ninth. The Royals with just 4 hits, 2 doubles, 2 singles. They have left 5. The Twins with 3 runs on 10 hits. They have left 11. Tomorrow night here at the K, Jeremy Guthrie against P.J. Walters. Thursday night, Wade Davis against Mike Pelfrey. Strike one. Smash to Carroll. Game over. The Royals have set a franchise record by losing their 11th consecutive home game. Ryan Domit, the star of the game, as he gave the team their early lead with a home run to right field on a 3-2 count, the 5th pitch on the 3-2 count, and he knocked it out off of Mendoza.
Yeah, some of these Minnesota Twins are in a groove right now, and he's one of them. Mendoza didn't have the best location. He's up with a few of his pitches, didn't have a lot of command, and had a high pitch count early. Didn't last long.
Well, the Royals are going to have to end this losing streak tomorrow night. Guthrie against Walters, and we'll check it out right after this.